Okay, let's start with a question for you listening. If your team, if they can drag and drop in Informatica ICS, move data around, does that automatically mean they're building really successful enterprise-grade data pipelines? It's something to think about because in today's complex business world, just those basic skills, that point-to-point data movement, it often falls short, way short sometimes.
That's a really critical distinction. Look, ICS Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services, it's undeniably powerful, a great platform for data integration.
Hmm.
And yeah, many people can pick up the visual tools pretty quickly, get data moving from A to B, but, and this is the key thing, when those data volumes start climbing.
Right, or complexity increases.
Exactly. Or the SLAs, the service level agreements get tighter. Well, those basic mappings, they just aren't going to cut it. You really need to tap into ICS's full potential to drive actual business value. It's more than just moving bits.
Okay, so if moving data A to B is just like the entry ticket,
Hmm.
what does real mastery look like? What's the blueprint for these enterprise-grade pipelines that don't just run, but actually, lead?
Well, that blueprint, it really starts with orchestration. We're talking about using ICS task flows here.
Task flows.
Yeah, they're the advanced orchestration layer. They let you handle conditional logic, so your data flows can actually make smart decisions as they go. It's also about enabling parallel execution, for speed, and carefully managing complex dependencies, making sure step B only happens after step A is truly done right.
So it's not just a straight line.
Not at all. The real insight, I think, is that while ICS lets you build simple linear flows, true mastery means anticipating where things might break. It's about designing dynamic branching logic that can automatically reroute or recover if something goes wrong, turning potential chaos into a kind of self-healing process.
Like a data ballet, you said. Everything perfectly choreographed.
That's a good way to put it, a data ballet, exactly. Every step planned.
That sounds incredibly robust. But even a perfect ballet needs strong individual dancers, right?
Right.
Which brings us to the core logic, the transformations. So once you've got that choreography, that orchestration nailed down, the next piece is making sure each individual data movement, each transformation is super efficient. What's key there in transformation logic?
Exactly right. And this isn't just about writing basic expressions, field A plus field B. It's about building optimized joins and lookups, things that aren't just functional, but are like razor sharp efficient.
Yeah.
And reliable, totally reliable.
Meaning,
Meaning knowing when, say, a sorted join is better for massive data sets versus maybe a hash join, or understanding how to avoid common mistakes that can turn a simple lookup into a huge performance bottleneck.
a performance black hole, yeah.
Right. You want your transformations lean and mean, efficient.
Okay, transformations humming. The next layer has got to be performance tuning, adjusting session properties, memory, CPU usage, and leveraging pushdown optimization.
Yes, push-down optimization. That's absolutely key. This is where you essentially push the transformation work down to the source or target database itself.
Letting the database do the heavy lifting.
Precisely. You leverage their powerful processing capabilities. It can dramatically speed things up, especially when you're dealing with large volumes. And partitioning data, effectively breaking it into smaller chunks, makes a huge difference too.
So it's not always the obvious things.
Sometimes not. Mastery understands that the bottleneck might not be the biggest data set. It could be a subtle ICS configuration choice or even something in the source database settings. It's the difference between a pipeline that crawls and one that flies.
Now, here's something I think gets overlooked sometimes, but is so critical. Error handling and recovery. Mature pipelines don't just run and hope, right? They need to proactively catch failures, log things intelligently so you know exactly what went wrong, and, crucially, be able to restart cleanly without losing data. Building in resilience. Have you seen disasters that better error handling could have prevented?
Oh, absolutely. Plenty. The worst ones are usually where some minor data hiccup, something small, cascades. It ends up causing days of lost productivity simply because there wasn't a clear automated way to recover. That's why intelligent logging, automatic restartability. These are just non-negotiable for serious enterprise pipelines.
Makes total sense. Okay, finally, parameterization. Building for scalability, for maintenance.
Precisely. Think of it like building with Legos instead of, I don't know, a fixed sculpture. Parameterization lets you create reusable bits, components, flexible task flows. It gives you this modular design where things like file paths or database connections can be easily changed. Different environments, different clients. You don't have to rewrite everything from scratch.
Much more efficient long term.
Way more efficient. And this ties into understanding secure agent deployment too. It's not just clicking install. It's understanding the network, the security protocols, resource allocation, ensuring data stays safe and flows smoothly, especially in these modular parameterized setups.
So wrapping it up, it's clearly not just about building a pipeline. It's about building with foresight, reliability, precision, making sure these pipelines don't just run, but actually led.
Exactly.
And for business leaders, for hiring managers listening, this means you need to cultivate more than just surface level skills in your teams, right? Get them thinking like data engineers, not just tool users.
Yeah, that often means maybe upskilling your internal folks with advanced ICS training
Yeah.
or looking for professionals who genuinely get secure agent deployment, sophisticated logging, the orchestration best practices we talked about. A common thing we see, a misconception really, is how often that initial proficiency, just knowing the basics of a tool like IICS, gets mistaken for true capability, for depth.
Okay, so to quickly recap, mastering ICS is way beyond drag and drop. It's about building with that foresight, reliability, precision, ensuring pipelines lid, not just run. It requires understanding the depth needed. So the final thought for you listening today is this. How are your data pipelines measuring up against these kinds of benchmarks for true ICS mastery? And maybe what's one specific area we discussed, orchestration, tuning, error handling, that you could explore to move your own work beyond the basics?